Good morning, everybody. We have a lower trade in the grain markets here early on Thursday morning. It is 6:30 a.m. Central Time. December corn futures down 5 3/4 at 4.20. January soybeans down 12 cents at 11.63 3/4. December Chicago wheat down 2.5 cents at 5.95 1/4. December Kansas City wheat down 2 3/4 at 5.55. December spring wheat up 1/4 cent at 5.50 1/2. U.S. ethanol production and gasoline demand both fell last week. Weekly ethanol output 962,000 barrels per day. That was down 1.5% on the week and down about 7% versus the same week last year. Over the last 4 weeks, ethanol output has been running about 8% below the same week last year, or the same period last year on average. Gasoline demand was down 5.8% just on the week and has been running about 10.5% versus the same period last year over the last 4 weeks. So, kind of going back in the wrong direction here, especially in the case of gasoline demand. Ethanol production margins kind of slipped back to like break even or even negative territory in some areas of the country. So this additional round of lockdowns and COVID restrictions that we've got going on here is not a positive at all. Depending on who you talk to, people believe that USDA may have to make some downward revisions to its demand forecast for ethanol. Other people believe that that's not necessary quite yet, but certainly something to keep an eye on. U.S. farmers may plant record acreage of major field crops in 2021. Mark Jekanowski, he is the chairman of the USDA World Ag Outlook Board. He spoke to the Global Grain Conference yesterday. He said that corn and soybean prices are both profitable for U.S. farmers at current levels following a recent rally spurred by Chinese demand. In quotes, he said, given the prices, farmers are going to make every effort they can to plant every acre they can. He did add that it's very early to predict levels of spring planting. But acreage should be up next year for a couple of reasons. I mean, one, because the prices are good. Two, keep in mind, we had big prevent plant acres in 2019. We had a lot of prevent plant acres here in 2020. So you should see a lot of that come back in. I think that principal crop acres, according to that most recent baseline projection from USDA, are going to be up 7 or 8 million in 2021. So there's room for an increase, certainly. Despite trade chatter, we have not seen any big flash sales of corn or soybeans to China this week. USDA did report a corn sale of 140,000 metric tons, that's 5.5 million bushels, to an unknown destination yesterday. Traders will be watching for flash sales again today. I'm not sure if this is why the market backed off. Corn posted new highs very briefly yesterday, then backed off. Same thing in soybeans. I'm not sure if that's why or not, but we'll be on the lookout at 8 o'clock Central Time this morning and also tomorrow for any flash sales. Funded traders remained aggressively long the grain complex. Private groups estimate that funds were net buyers of 10,000 contracts of corn, 6,000 contracts of soybeans, and 3,000 contracts of SRW wheat yesterday. Total net length now estimated at yesterday's close: 269,000 contracts of corn, 251,000 contracts of soybeans, and 27,000 contracts of SRW wheat. We will see an updated CFTC Commitment of Traders report tomorrow afternoon. USDA will release its weekly export sales report this morning at 7:30 Central Time. Row crop sales have backed off a little bit. China's been a little bit less active. Last week, soybean sales were a marketing year low. They were still good at like 1.5 million metric tons, but it was a low for the marketing year. So today we are looking for corn sales 600,000 up to 1 million, soybean sales 600,000 up to 1.2, wheat sales 250 up to 500. Remember, December grain options expire tomorrow, so if you have any remaining positions, make sure you take a look at that. The December corn contract nearby very briefly posted a fresh high yesterday, so you've kind of on the chart almost got a double top up at that 428 level. I don't know why we backed off. I don't know if it's because we haven't seen the flash sale or it's just a run-of-the-mill correction. It's not a big enough correction to get overly worked up about. 5.5 cents a carry from Dece to March this morning. They've taken some carry back out of this thing here over the last few days, and a lot of, if you've got an HTA contract, you're going to be forced to decide whether or not you're going to roll them forward here pretty soon. If you're short futures on the board, you've got a little bit more time. Soybean market posted fresh multi-year highs again yesterday prior to a setback. Again, we're still looking out for these Chinese sales. When you look at the relationship between Brazilian beans and U.S. beans, I mean, we're the only game in town right now. But once you get into that period when Brazilian beans become available, they're going to be much cheaper for China to import, and that's probably exactly what will happen. You'll see China switch, barring some big South American crop issue, and we've got some minor issues, but not anything that's really major at this point. Their weather's kind of a mixed bag. It's not perfect, but it's not a disaster either. Weather forecasts looking a little bit more favorable for wheat, both in the U.S., HRW areas, and some areas overseas. You could see a nasty setback in the wheat market, especially if the row crops were to correct lower. You look at these wheat balance sheets, we just don't really have much of a story here. Cattle market was lower yesterday. Feeder cattle really got beat up. They were down more than $2 in a lot of these contracts. Fat cattle were down anywhere from 50 cents to about $1, depending on the contract. I think there was some cash trade at like 110 yesterday or 111, but it wasn't anything heavy, so we'll see what develops here today. The boxed beef market was up again in the choice boxes, $2. Select boxes were just a little bit lower. Stock market's a little bit lower this morning ahead of the cash open. The Dow Jones is down 40 points. S&P is down 2 points. Bonds are up a little bit. U.S. dollars up a little bit. Crude oil is down 25 cents in the December WTI, 41.57. Gold's down about 14 bucks. If you'd like some more information, visit my website, www.standardgrain.com. Go to that website, click on Grain Marketing Plan. If you would like to know when, how, and specifically I'm pricing corn, soybeans, and wheat throughout the year, it's broken down by crop year, by percentage. I talk about things like rolling HTAs, capture and carry, all that sort of stuff. Check out that subscription service. It's an email every morning at 6:30, plus a text message service. You can cancel it at any time. There's no obligation. You don't need a trading account. Definitely check that out. Everyone have a great day. I will talk to you on Friday.